Yeah, there was a lot of fatalities in this movie. Not too many, but enough to be fucking satisfied, and oh boy, I was satisfied. Mortal Kombat 2021. This is the second debut feature by Simon Quaid. It stars a lot of the original Mortal Kombat characters. You got Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Sonya Blade, Jax, Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Raiden, and a few others. This movie introduces a new character called Cole. And much like movies like Harry Potter, where, you know, Harry's sort of, I mean, he's got some characteristics, but he's more of an empty shell for the audience to, like, see the world through. That's what they did with Cole in this movie. I've heard a lot of people complain about Cole. I've watched some other reviews before I made my own. And I didn't mind him. I didn't think he was that bad for a sort of window into the whole MK universe. I didn't mind him. Was he as developed as some of the other characters? Fuck no. No, you cannot take away from the history and the development of all these other characters that have been in the video games for years. Kano was awesome in this movie. He was fucking brilliant, and I loved every second that he was on screen. He was so funny. And as someone that's obviously Australian, well done. He captured, like, the essence of being Australian, just, like, yeah, it was pretty good. I also liked Sub-Zero. Whenever he showed up, it was pretty badass. Some scenes were made to look sort of like a horror movie, like he was this big, intimidating force. And I don't really know much about the Mortal Kombat games. I mean, I know some of it, but I do know that Scorpion and Sub-Zero have a bit of a feud. That's all I basically really know, and that's a major sort of plot in the games. My history with Mortal Kombat, I never really played the original games until much later in life, like 1, 2, and 3, which I love. I love those games. MK9 was my Mortal Kombat. And funny story, so in Australia there was a time when R-rated video games weren't allowed. So I went to America for a trip, and I smuggled MK9 into Australia because it was banned, and I was like the coolest kid at school for a point. I was handing it out to people were like, oh, can we borrow MK9? And, you know, at that point, I hadn't seen anything come close to the level of gore and violence in a video game, except for God of War. And this was fucking insane. I loved MK9. You even got to play as Freddy Krueger and Kratos. Like, that's pretty awesome. Which leads me into, like, my main thing with this movie. Did it capture the spirit of the video game series? And especially MK9 for me, like that awesome, like, just, oh, that gore and that awesome feeling of just, like, of watching some shit that you probably shouldn't be seeing go down. Yeah, this movie captured that for me.
A great success!
If you like blood and gore and you like good, like, fight scenes and some martial arts incorporated into it, like, some of Bruce Lee's older films, Jackie Chan's sort of films. There's a lot of, like, Asian influence in this movie. And a lot of the characters are from Asia, so, you know, or they're played by Asian actors, I should say. And yeah, it was good. Some of the stuff you could tell was fake, like some of the blood seemed a bit fake, but I can give that a pass because it's fucking Mortal Kombat. Like, you're not gonna get a really realistic depiction of things going down when people are throwing fireballs at each other, you know, and people are cutting other people apart with hats with blades on them. That was always my favorite character in the games, Kung Lao. I loved that that razor hat, and that does make an appearance. That some of the moves that he has, some of the famous moves, and some of the moves that he uses in MK9 make an appearance, and that was probably the most satisfying moment for me. One character just gets fucked up, and it was pretty intense. For story and depth, if you're coming into this movie for like a dramatic fight movie, like The Fighter or $1 Million Baby, where it's like this like really sort of drama-based fight movie, you're not going to find that here. You're going to find some story. Like the first 7 minutes of this film were awesome. The way they set up Scorpion and his backstory, brilliant. After that, it doesn't go the way that you're thinking it's going to go. It sort of detours from that and goes into something else. But you know what? I didn't mind it. You know, it was a bit jumbled. Like, this movie was a bit jumbled. You could tell the pacing wasn't like all the time. It was sort of all over the place. And you could tell some things were cut down. It seemed like this movie was going to go on longer, but you could tell like maybe 15 to 20 minutes were cut down. And so that's the thing with movies like this, where if they go too long, it becomes boring. If they go too short, it's a bit choppy. It's sort of more on the choppy side, but not that bad. Like, I could watch this again, like, definitely. This is a movie I'm definitely going to watch again. And it's a prequel to the tournament. There is no tournament in this movie. It's actually a prequel to Mortal Kombat, the tournament. So if this movie does well, which I'm hoping it does, it will definitely get a sequel. And for video game movies, from what I've like seen in Mortal Kombat and from what I've played and like just the overall spirit, I think this is one of the good. I think this is one of the better ones. I really do like this movie, for what it gave me. So I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. It's not the best, you know, fight movie. It does have some really sick fatalities, and the blood and gore was really good, and it definitely deserved an R rating. And they took full advantage of it, which I'm happy they did, because I was getting a bit tired of just, you know, yeah. Some studios lately have made movies like Venom where you can tell they wanted to go the extra mile and go for that MA rating or R rating in America, but they didn't. And it's really satisfying to see a movie, you know, just grow some balls and go for it. So that was you know, it was pretty satisfying. So yeah, if you've got the time, definitely check this one out. It's a good time. I would highly recommend. And if you love the video games, you're probably going to love this movie. Well, if you played MK9 or like the more intense, gorier ones, you're probably going to like this movie. Because I sure did. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching the review. These have been pretty good, these movie reviews, so I'm going to keep doing them. And hope you keep coming back. Alright guys, take care.